Alright guys, welcome back to What If Bardock Survived. Where last left off, Bardock fought Beerus and the Battle of Gods began. Now, it's time for us to do a new saga. This saga will be the King Cold saga. With all that being said, let's get to it. We cut to Kakarot, Raditz, and Bardock, all training on Beerus' planet. They all started to get a little bit of God Ki here and there. And Raditz even thought about bringing Trunks, and Kakarot even thought about bringing Gohan. Even though Gohan wasn't big on fighting, he could still learn a thing or two and become a bit stronger if he trains this way. And well, Beerus would agree, and Raditz would also want Trunks, but Chi-Chi didn't really want Gohan to go off to Beerus' world, so Goku had to deal with that. As he teleported back to Chi-Chi, as Goku would look at Chi-Chi and beg to let Gohan train, saying it will be a great help, Chi-Chi would eventually relent and say, fine. Really? Yes, but he must still study. He's growing up and becoming a teenager, and this world is getting more and more dangerous. If he trains, maybe he can defend himself better. Goku would nod as he took Gohan, saying, you're the best, Chi-Chi. As he left, we cut to Frieza and King Cold. King Cold would look at Frieza and say, can we do it yet? Can we finally get our revenge? Frieza would say, no. We're on the grasp of something more. And we're on a grasp of some more power. I could just feel it. King Cold and Frieza would train with each other, pushing each other more and more. King Cold was disgusted that Frieza managed to lose. But it was against a Super Saiyan, but still. Frieza and King Cold were said to be God among men to some people. They controlled planets, galaxies, and even the universe itself. So how could he lose to a monkey, even if it is some sort of super monkey? King Cold would always be mad at Frieza. He never fought him himself because deep down he knew he would lose, even if he didn't want to admit it to himself. He always kept it a secret about Frieza's loss, trying to make it seem like he went on vacation or something stupid. People all around the Empire kind of knew Frieza was dead, but they didn't dare say it because then King Cold would kill him. One day, as they were both training, aggravated at each other, Frieza was pissed that his father was looking down on him, and King Cold was pissed that his son was destroyed by a Saiyan. Suddenly, as they fought, both of their skin would turn gold. As King Cold looked down and said, you were right, Frieza. You're not right about much, but you're right about this. Frieza would look up and say, what is that supposed to mean? Just forget it. Now we can finally get our revenge. Yes, father. Yes, we can, Frieza would say as he started to laugh. As King Cold and Frieza decided to fly to Earth to try to get revenge, we cut back to Kakarot, who brought Gohan to Beerus' world. As him, Raditz, and Bardock all trained, Broly would just watch. Beerus would say, you trained every once in a while, but why aren't you training like the rest? Broly would say, I don't need to get stronger. Stronger comes through rage. Rage comes through hurt. And hurt leads to pain. Every time I get stronger, I just hurt others. Beerus would look and say, damn, you're a downer. Oh well, at least we had a good fight, Beerus would say as he started to eat. But then, they would feel a massive presence on Earth. Even from Beerus' planet, they could all feel it. As they asked to see what was going on, Whis decided to show with his staff that Frieza landed on Earth. As Frieza and King Cold landed, Master Roshi and the other Earthlings would try to stop them, including Trunks, but they stood no chance. Instead of just letting the soldiers fight and get slaughtered, King Cold wanted to send a message, since they didn't know who he was, so he decided to get involved himself. And he would demolish Master Roshi and the other Earthlings, killing them. Goku saw this and began to get angrier and angrier, as they all did. But they didn't have instant transmission, so they had to get on Whis and have Whis travel him back to the Earth. As this 30 minutes passed, all the Earthlings were dead. Trunks was almost dead too. He was laying down a pile of his blood, his arm broken. As Frieza would go up and grab him by the neck, about to kill him, but then Raditz would appear. Don't touch my son! As he would turn blue and charge at Frieza. As then Frieza would block Raditz's punch and turn gold. It seems you had a makeover, monkeys, but so have I. I have reached a new level, beyond your pathetic blue or yellow forms. I have turned gold, the medal of honor. And so has my father. King Cold would then turn gold also, as Bardock would look at him and say, King Cold, I didn't think I would see you. What have you been up to? He would look at him and say, is that some kind of joke? I've been waiting to get my revenge for you killing my son. I thought you would come after me, search for me, so I hid in the shadows and ruled my empire from there. However, the more I hid, the more you didn't come. So I decided to seek your revenge myself and destroy you and all the Saiyans once and for all. Bardock and Raditz would both fight Frieza and King Cold, as Kakarot and Broly both watched. As Whis would say, why aren't you getting involved? Because it'll be an unfair fight, Kakarot would say. Even after they killed all those people, Beerus would say, we're wishing back with the Dragon Balls. As Broly began to watch, they saw the battle continue more and more. And Broly also said, and after fighting them, they'll be more worn out and we can jump in later. Ah, so you're saving your strength. That's smart, Whis would say. As the battle continued, first King Cold and Frieza would be much stronger. However, as the time went on, they started to run low on stamina. When Frieza realized it, it was almost too late. With their stamina drained, it seemed impossible for them to win. But then Frieza had an idea. As he began to laugh, let's just say I learned a technique from planets I used to conquer. Father, it's time. King Cold would look at him and say, no way, you can't be serious. We're gonna win without it. Frieza would say, we need it, Father, our stamina. King Cold would then sigh as he looked at Frieza. Fine, damn it. Frieza then began to laugh. As then he would say, I hate doing this. Honestly, I do. But there's one thing I hate even more, and that's pathetic monkeys like you. As then Frieza and King Cold would start to dance. As I said, fuse, Jun, ha! As then they fused into King Frieza. King Frieza looked at them all as he began to laugh. You thought you did it, didn't you? I didn't realize that whole stamina thing, so you thought you could easily defeat me without a second thought. However, I always have a backup plan. Now that me and my father are one, we can easily take care of you. Broly, Kakarot, Raditz, and Bardock all charged in their blue forms, except for Broly with his green form. As they all charged in, King Frieza went straight for Broly, realizing his potential, and knocked him out. He was going to kill him with a death beam, but then Bardock hit him straight in the face. But then King Frieza whacked him with his tail into a mountain. As he got up and began to bleed, King Frieza would laugh. As Raditz would hit him with everything he had, he would charge all of his power to a double Sunday as it did nothing. Then he would grab him with his tail and begin to choke him. I do want you to suffer. I do want to torture you, but sadly I have a time limit. He would then blast him into all of his pressure points and throw him to the ground as he began to bleed out. Bardock would get angrier and angrier and angrier just seeing this. As he would begin to yell, he would achieve blue evolution. But that wasn't enough. As he charged at King Frieza would simply grab his hand and snap it, breaking it, as he fell to the floor and began to scream out in pain and agony. King Frieza then slowly stepped on his legs, snapping them too. He enjoyed torturing him. He enjoyed making him suffer. He was going to make all these Saiyans suffer, just as he suffered. Just as he suffered when he was launching the sun, and just as he suffered when he was in hell, and just as his father suffered. Watching his own son die and be humiliated, having to cover it up throughout the entire universe. Both of their anger fused into that body, and they were going to use it. But then, Beerus got up. As King Frieza looked at Beerus and said, Lord Beerus, what are you doing? Beerus would say, I think it's time I take good care of this. I'm getting sick of you. And I know what to do with someone when I'm sick of them. Beerus would then lift up his hand and say, Hakai, as he erased Frieza King, destroying both of them forever. As Kakarot would breathe heavily and say thank you, Beerus would say, don't thank me. I don't care about you. He was just annoying, that's all. As him and Whis flew off, but they could see through the facade. They could tell Beerus cared about them. And it's been so long since he cared about anyone. Why does he care about them? They didn't know, but they were happy to have Beerus as a friend. And with Frieza King dead, who could be the next villain? No one knew. But they knew they had to keep training, because no matter how strong you get, there'll always be someone else even stronger.
And that is going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what you think of the series down below so far.